Today is March the 20th. Today, Jesus is called the Son of God Most High. Now that's an unusual name. Let's see where that occurs. It's in Mark chapter 5. We're going to read the first part of this story, the first 13 verses. They came to the other side of the sea, to the region of the Gerasenes, and when he had stepped out of the boat, immediately a man from the tombs with an unclean spirit met him. He lived among the tombs. No one could restrain him anymore, even with a chain. He had often been restrained with shackles and chains, but the chains he wrenched apart, and the shackles he broke in pieces. No one had the strength to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and on the mountains, he was always howling and bruising himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and bowed down before him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you by God, do not torment me." For he had said to him, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." Jesus asked him, "What's your name?" He replied, "My name is Legion, for we're many." And he begged him earnestly not to send them out of the region. Now there was on the hillside a great herd of swine feeding. And the unclean spirits begged him, "Send us into the swine. Let us enter them." So he gave them permission. And the unclean spirits came out and entered the swine, and the herd, numbering about 2,000, stampeded down the steep bank into the sea and were drowned in the sea. Jesus crosses over into Gentile territory. We know it's a Gentile territory because there's a herd of pigs there. Jews would never have had that. Even Romans living among the Jews wouldn't have dared to have a herd of 2,000. Well, the demons had been causing this man to do horrible, horrible things. First of all, the basic issue was that he stayed in the tombs. They tried to keep him from doing that, but they couldn't restrain him. He was obsessed with death. He tried to do himself harm, and he ended up howling most of the day. Now they call him Jesus, Son of the Most High God. Most High God is a name that occurs in the Old Testament, but it's not common. Let's read one place where it occurs in the story of Abraham and Melchizedek.
Genesis 14:17 through 24, New Revised Standard Version. After his return from the defeat of Chedorlaomer and the kings who were with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Sheva, that is, the king's valley. And King Melchizedek of Salem brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High. He blessed him and said, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, maker of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand." And Abram gave him 1/10 of everything. Then the king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the persons, but take the goods for yourself." But Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have sworn to God Most High, maker of heaven and earth, that I would not take a thread or a sandal strap or anything that is yours, so that you might not say, 'I have made Abram rich.' I will take nothing but what the young men have eaten, and the share of the men who went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their share."
So you see how Melchizedek was the priest of the Most High God. Another 20 times in Psalms, the name Most High God is used to refer to God. This seems to be a name of God that's used outside Israel. It's used in Daniel, when Daniel talks to his leaders, his Persian leaders, about the God that he serves. You know, God is known. He was actually known outside of Israel, apparently by his name. God will be known. So what do we do with this today? This is an unusual name for God. What are some of your favorite names for God today? Use those names and worship him with it. Scripture reading from the New Revised Standard Version by Emily Herrera. Once a week, New Hope Church uploads its sermon from the previous Sunday. Just the sermon. You can find it on our YouTube channel, New Hope Church Greenwood IN, or our podcast channels.